So actually, this is not a demo. There is nothing like a demo session over here. We are starting from now, and it will be there for next 2 months. In every weekend, we will meet for around 1 or 1.5 hours. And so mainly, main objective of this course is to target the freshers as well as non-IT background candidate who want to uh, develop their career into like as a data analyst or data scientist or data engineers. So for those, actually still people are joining, so I am admitting them. So those are our main audiences. So this is not much applicable for more than 5 years of experience candidates. So it is up to 0 to 5 years and non-IT background people. So let me share my screen. Let me know once you are able to see my screen. Nobody is speaking, right? Actually, I am not able to hear anyone. Hello, what is the issue? Can anyone tell me? Yes, yes. Actually, I have already muted in the Chrome browser. Mute site option is given. So if I do the mute site, then nobody will able to speak. Or they can write in the chat box. At the end of the section, we will uh, give the answer to try to give answer to all the questions. I am doing the mute site. Let me do it. Hello, still noise is coming. Okay, 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 okay. Yes. No, actually, right now I'm not presenting anything. Let me mute everyone again. Now you will be able to see my screen. Are you able to see the Excel file, right? So, okay, so this will be our course content. I have already shared with you all. So, as I have already said, our main audience should be freshers and not non IT background people with less than 5 years of experience. And within this 2 months of duration, we will write 70 plus query in front of you. Uh, so you will be able to understand how to read the problem statement as well as how to how to give the solution in a proper way so that query will be work efficiently and effectively. I'm just checking again. So this will and it will be 100% practical content only, and the many of the queries has been asked in different MNC companies. So I have that list with me. So we will be solve that one. And one more thing is TSQL is not part of this program because for freshers and experience level, sorry, freshers and non IT background people, it will be a more difficult part. So this is the phase one. So in which we will see only SQL part of SQL server or others relational database, and I will mostly provide the documents as well to all of you with query and solutions as well. So we are starting from a very basics now. So I hope that let me check. Yeah, I have already started the recording. So so I hope that you all have installed the SQL server as well as SSMS, right? So I have uploaded that video in my YouTube channel today only. So you can go through it if you haven't installed in your system. So this is the video how to install the SQL Server database engine and SSMS. Yes, yes, sure. I will suggest that one in the end. Please remind me in the end of the section. So we are starting from very scratch today. So firstly, let me understand you what is a database. So database is mainly the collection of data, right? So in the database, if you install the SQL server, then you need to download the AdventureWorks database online from the Microsoft website. And then once you downloaded it, you can install over here in your database engine. So let me connect to my SSMS. I hope nobody is 1 minute. Okay. So you can if you once you install your database engine and ssms, you you will have the server type over here. So in which you, as of now you have to select the database engine, because we right now we are not dealing with any reporting services or ssis or ssrs or analysis services, right? So for our purpose only database engine is required. Then at the time of the installation, you might have given the server name over here. So server name is mostly 1 minute. Actually, people are still joining. So server name is mostly it is automatically generated by the SQL server. So it will be automatically uh, written by over here. And then there is authentication is there. So in that authentication, here we have two different options. One is Windows authentication and another one is SQL Server authentication. So once you do the Windows authentication, it will automatically uh, take your username and no need and no need to write the password in that case when you choose the Windows authentication. So I mostly use the Windows authentication only. And once you do this SQL Server authentication, at that time you have to write some username or password, but that you have to be remember which you have given at the time of installation. But right now I am giving Windows authentication only. So let me connect to my SQL Server. 1 minute. So here you need to download that databases. So if you go to the Google, let me show you once. Download Adventure Work database. You have to write for any version you can download. Then you have to go to this website Adventure Work sample database, and then over here there are three different items has been provided. One is OLTP. This is the data warehouse, and this is another one lightweight. So as of now we need to download OLTP only. So you can download any of this backup file and then you can install in your SSMS from the database option. So I have already installed it. So this is called the database. So database is a collection of tables, right? Different kind of tables based on what kind of database we have acquired. So I have taken one example over here. Let me admit. So 1 minute. So I have taken one screenshot to explain what is a database. So database is a collection of several tables, right? Database is a collection of several. 1 minute. database is a collection of several tables. So, and each table is somewhat related with some other table. So, if you see this screenshot, so this is the typical banking database. So over here, if you see in the middle of over here, it is a, sorry, we start from the topper part. So in the top side, there is one table given as the customers table, right? So in the any bank has several customers are there, right? So they will maintain the customer ID of each of the customers, then customer name, then customer phone number, and other details it will have. So each of the bank each of the bank will give only unique customer ID, right, to all the customers. So no two different people have same customer ID. So that is the concept of primary key over here. Don't worry, I will explain you in detail way also, but this is just a brief introduction. So customer ID will be our primary key in customers table. Then if you see over here, customer types code. 1 minute. Nobody is there, right? Screen is not visible. Visible now. Okay. So if you see, customer types code is there, right? So customer types code is directly relate with this customer purchases. So a customer type code in the customer table will be a foreign key. Foreign key in customer table, in customer purchases table, purchase ID is a primary key. So purchase ID in customer purchase table is customer type code in customers table. So they have a direct relation is mentioned with this symbol. Then uh, if you see bank have different type of customers, right? So maybe some are premium customer or some are basic customers or anything like that. So for that, there is one another table is given over here, customer types. So in that, customer type code is a primary key, so it will be a unique in all the rows of customer types table. Then also bank has different account types, right? Like saving account or like fixed deposit account or current account. These kind of different types are there, and different types of customers are also there. So account type code is a primary key. It will be only one value of like saving, then another value is current. So saving will not repeated in account type. Same as all the customers have the account ID will be generated for all the customers, right? So account ID is the primary key of account table. In same way, if you see over here, customer ID is the foreign key of over here in, and it is a primary key in customers table. 1 minute. So what is the account ID? Then what is the account name? When that particular customer has opened the account in a particular bank, then what kind of account type is there? These kind of details are given, and if you see in account and transaction also there is a relationship. So in the transaction, then that customer come to the bank, and then that customer will do some transaction, like suppose he withdraws money from the his account, then that customer ID and account ID will have some transaction ID generated, and that transaction type code also maintained over here in this transactions table, right? So, and then what are the distinct transactions are there? So that distinct transaction types are maintained in the transaction types table. Then what different products has been given by the bank? Like bank is sometimes offering insurance also. Like bank is providing loans also. Bank is providing some other kind of things. So that products and services will be maintained in this product and service table. So this kind of relationships has been maintained, and then this is the merchants table is given. So are you? Let me do 1 minute. Are you clear as of now? Please write in the chat box. Okay. So this is the typical database simple example. So we will create. We will see how to create these kind of tables. Then how to give the foreign key and primary key relationships. Yeah. Yeah. So now we will see how to create these kind of tables practically in SSMS. So if you let me try to give example of a table. So suppose here it is already mentioned that customer is a one table, right? So in that all this customer ID, customer name, customer phone, all these are columns are there. In this integer varchar of 40, then integer of 10, varchar of 40, these are all we can say as a data type. And this pk and fk is given, right? So pk means primary key and fk means foreign key. We will see this one in sometimes. So now let me introduce with the different types of commands in database. In sql you can say that. So these are the five main different types of commands available in the database. So what is data definition language? Suppose you want to create in the database. In the database, there are tables are there, store procedures are there. I will show you over here. These are tables are there, views are there. In the programmatically part, there are store procedures are there, functions are there, triggers are there. So all we can consider as a database object. These are all database objects. So once we need to create all this kind of database object, then that command what we are using in SQL server, that is known as a database definition language, because we are creating that particular object in our database, right? Let me see 1 minute. So this is called database definition language. Now suppose I have created one table, right? But after some time there is a requirement from the client side that I want this particular two columns need to be added in my particular this table, right? So that we can do with the help of alter, because we are doing something addition into a table which is already exist. So that is why that is called as a alter, and that comes again in the data definition language part. Now there is a drop command is there. So now if uh, any object is not required in the database, or any table is not required in the database, then we can drop that particular table. So if we drop that particular table, that table will no longer exist in our database. So let me try to show you. I will show you later on, no worries. And now suppose if in the any table, if we want to delete or truncate the all the rows in the table, then truncate statement is used for that purpose. So we will see the example of this all these things also in some time. Now let me move to the data definition language. 1 minute. Drop and delete will tell you later. Please remind me in the end. So now let's move to the data definition, data manipulation language. So suppose once we create any of the object, right? Mainly once we create any of the table, then we need to insert record into that particular table. So there are several ways to insert data into a particular table. So for that we are using the insert statement. Now suppose there are already a data is there into our table, and we want to do some of the modifications, like if like we want to update salary of all the employees by 10,000 from current salary, right? So for that purpose we are using the update statement. So we will see the example soon. Please stay with me. And suppose there is no data is required, then we will use the delete statement, and delete statement will be the part of data manipulation language. What is the we will see it later on. Now this is data control language. So it means what kind of access we want to give to any particular user. So suppose there is some new user is came into your system, right? So in the security over here, you will see the users. So these are the default users as of now. So if we there is a requirement to add some user and give access to the particular tables only, then or particular schema. So at that time we can use the grant access on that particular database to particular user. And suppose we want to take back that particular access from that user, then we need to use a revoke option. But these options are not used by data engineers or data analyst or data scientists or any freshers. They are not using these kind of options. Hardly these options are available to DBAs only, and they are experienced peoples mostly. Now let me again go to the transaction control language. So suppose if we are doing some entry into any of the particular table, or if we are doing any of the update into particular table, then we have sometimes we need to do the begin transaction, then write over here insert update or delete transaction. So after that it sometimes suppose by mistakenly we have done the wrong insert into particular table. So at that time we need to do the rollback option. So rollback will revert your changes to a table, and it goes to the initial stage. And if we do the commit, then our changes will be permanently committed to the table. And this option is mostly used by the data engineers, data scientists, or data analyst, or freshers, or financial analyst, or business analyst, or anyone. We are mostly deal with data query language, which is a select statement. But select statement has so many flavors and so many things inside it. So we will mainly focusing on this one, and then we will see the part of DML, DDL as well. So now up to here, let me know if you have any questions. Let me admit. Okay, 1 minute. You have deleted one table, and after that you have performed some action on other table, and then also you rollback will going to work. Can you please explain acidity type? Oh, you have deleted one table. Deleted means we have dropped the table or delete the record from that table. Can you say that? Okay, if we drop the table, right, then that table cannot be rolled back. ए काजल गरम पानी થોડુંક यार કાઈ નહીં રહેવા દે If we drop the table, then I think if we have the backup of that table, so I will show you the way how we can deal with this option if we drop the table and we want to. So for that we need to take the backup of the table and then only we need to drop the table. So that is the option. I think in the begin transaction, once we do the begin transaction, few records by mistake. Okay. So Ankur, we will discuss this point in the end of the section, last 15-20 minutes. Let me move forward with my presentation. So we are mostly part with the data query language. Now, so 1 minute. 2 minutes, please. गरम पानी बना ये आप ही दे So now, if you see in our this screenshot, there were everyone. It is mentioned that PK and FK is over here. It is mentioned. Then PK is mentioned over here. Then over here FK is mentioned. PK is mentioned. So these are called as a constraint. So if you see over here, there are different types of constraints are there to maintain the database integrity and referential integrity amongst different objects, or you can say that tables in the database. So for that purpose, these are the different constraints has been given, and it will be mostly applicable to all the relational databases, all the databases. So there is a primary key constraint is there, unique key constraint is there, not null constraint is there, check constraint is there, null constraint is there, and default constraint is there, and foreign key constraint is there. 1 minute. Okay. So what is a primary key constraint? So let me explain that one. So what is a foreign key primary key constraint? So primary key constraint will maintain the uniqueness in the table. So suppose we have seen the customer table in the bank database, right? So customer ID will be always unique, right? So every person has distinct distinct customer ID has been generated by the bank. So you can say that customer ID in bank database is primary key. And there is one property of primary key is it will be unique and it will be not null. both. So we cannot give null value in customer ID, right? There is no customer as null as a customer ID. That is not possible, right? So it will be not null and a unique. So now unique key. So unique key phone number. If we see the phone number of every customer or email ID of every customer, or you can say account ID of every customer. Sorry, account ID we cannot say that, but we can say phone number and email ID. So that will be unique. So there is no duplicate value. There is no duplicate values in unique key, and it is allowed only one null value. So there will be definitely this question can be asked in interview, that unique key constraint is allowed null value or not, or if it is null allowed null value, then how many null values it is allowed. So this question can be asked to freshers in many interviews. Let me allow. So it is a unique constraint. Now, not null constraint. So suppose in our customer table, we want the information of all the customers' email ID mandatory. Then we can say that email ID column should be not null. There is no null value will be there in email ID column. So it is a not null. Now, what is a check constraint? So check constraint is, I will give you some examples like in the employee table. So there are all the employees are there, right? There are all the employees are there. So all the employees must have salary greater than zero only, right? Salary cannot be zero or less than zero. It is not possible, right? Then suppose in the gender, suppose in the employee table, there is some column is age is there, age. That what is the age of the particular employee? So that age also should be greater than 0 and less than 100. No employee is 200 years old, right? It is not possible. Or no employee is less than 0. That is also not possible. So for that kind of purposes, check constraint is using. Now what is the null constraint? So null constraint will allow any number of null values in the table, because it is itself a null constraint, right? Now what is a default constraint? Suppose suppose I have some customers are there, and I want to mention, I am not aware about their country detail, that customer is from which country, and my bank is located in India only, and it is Indian government bank, and it is available in India level only. So suppose that country detail for that customer is not mentioned, and at that time, if I want to mention a default country as a India of that particular customer, then in that that kind of scenario, default constraints is used. Now this is last but not least, as we have seen over here, it is a foreign key constraint. So customer and you can see customer and customer purchase table. So customer ID in the customer table will be always be the customer ID in the customer purchase table, and it is a foreign key. So there is a direct relationship between customer ID in customer table and customer ID in customer purchase table. So we will see the examples of that in few moments only. So 1 minute. There are some guys are still joining. It is surprising. Okay, now let me try to connect with the database. Okay. So now suppose I want to use this database, right? AdventureWorks 2022. So we have to mention use AdventureWorks 2022. Now let me try to drop it is if it is already exist. If it is already exist, let me now I am creating the table customer to explain you how we can create the table, then how we can give the data type, and then how we can give the constraint into it. So I am creating this table. Let me create this one. It is a basically a customer table with all the columns. So let me create this one. Okay, it is already exist. Let me drop that one. Okay, it is created. So let me try to select data from that. It will be blank only, right? We have not inserted anything into our customer table. So now let me come to the point of this integer where care of 30, this integer, those this all kinda are of all these are the data types in SQL server or any relational database management system. It is called as a data type, and you can further read about the data type from Google as well. Now let me come to the point of identity column. So what is the identity column? So identity column will automatically generate value to a particular column. Like it will automatically generate value to the customer ID column of customer table. So it is a start with one. So it will start with one first one comma one means it start with one, and this is called as a increment by one. Start with one, increment by one means if you see over here I have written it will generate the value with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that. Now this is a primary key column. So unique values into the column as well as non-value. As I have already said it, right? And then identity column will generate the continuous value in a column. Suppose over here it is starting with 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. Now what if I have given is over here 5 and over here is 10? So in this kind of scenario, it will start with 10. Then what will be the next value? Can anyone write in the chat box what will be the next value? 15. Okay, correct. 15. Okay, correct. 15 is the next value, then 20 is the next value. Like that, it will generate values in our table. So let me do again 1/1 only. So now come to the point of customer number. So customer number will be always greater than 0, right? So it will never be the 0, or it will never be the less than 0. So what I have done, and also customer number is a mandatory column in my database table. So what I have done, customer number is a not null, so it is a mandatory column and it is a unique column as well. No two customer have the same customer number, right? And it will be the check constraint. This is a check constraint, that number should be always greater than 0. It will not be less than 0 or equal to 0. I have written that over here. There must be a value. It will be a unique value. No duplicates are allowed, and it will always be greater than 0. Right? So it is the purpose of check constraint. Now let me come to the point of email address column, where care of 30 and unique constraint. So here we can say that email ID will always be the unique for all customers. No duplicate values are allowed in this column. Okay. Now, what is the last name? What is the first name? So last name is not null. First name also not null. So there must be a value in the last name column, and there must be a value in the first name column. But it will allow the duplicates value. Both will be allowed the duplicates values. Now come to the point of middle name, and it is allowed null. So it can be any null values or all the null values it will accept. Suppose I have 1,000 customers or 10,000 customers are there, then all the customers may have null values in the middle name. That is also fine for me. Now, what is area code? So it is a default constraint. Suppose I do not have any area code, or particular customer do not have any area code, then there will be a default value 71,000 in the particular table for that particular customer. And same in the case of country level. Suppose country is not defined for any customer, then it will be India is a default country. Right now we have given Malaysia, so keep me with Malaysia only. So now we are checking the all the constraint. Yes, where is data type, yes. So now let me try to insert the data into our table. So now, can you guys ping over here whether this row will be inserted or not? Can you guys tell me that? Integer few are data types equal. They will discuss this furthermore. Can you guys able to understand my question? Please stay with me for another half an hour only. You will get to know many things. Can you able to say this we will this row will be inserted into customer table or not? This is my question. Can you write down please in the chat box? Why no? Why no? Why? Okay, because the check constraint. Right, exactly. Let me try to insert insert statement conflicted with check constraint. The conflict insert into the database customer table and customer number column, because in customer number column We have defined the check constraint. Now let me try to insert this one. Now can you try to say this row will be inserted into table or not? Can you write down in the chat box? This row will be inserted into table or not? Let me go to the no null not allowed. No null not allowed. Okay, two members are wrong. I think Sagar is correct. Let me try to insert the data. So cannot insert the value null into the column first name. Column does not allow null value. So what we have defined over here, guys? We have defined over here a not null constraint. So it will not allow the null values in our table. Okay. So now let me try to insert these three rows. It will be inserted, I think. Okay, these three rows has been inserted. Now let me again try to this one. I think it will violate the check constraint because customer number column does not allow. This is the same thing. Now let me try to insert this one. It is inserted. So now five. Let me check that one. 500 is customer number, email ID. Email ID is unique, right? And unique constraint will allow null values, right? So now, guys, can you tell me? I have one question to you. Can you tell me this row will be inserted or not? Can you tell me this row is inserted into the table or not? This 600 is there, right? 600 LB Harry Jenny last row is inserted into a table or not? Please write down in the chat box. Can you tell me that row is inserted into table or not? Can you please write down in the chat box? Yes, Sagar is absolutely correct. This row cannot be inserted into the table because if you see over here, after the 600, there is a null value is given. But then what is that null value? It is email ID column and it is a unique value. So unique constraint will allowed only only one null value, right? Unique constraint will allowed only one null value. As we have already inserted null value into our table, so this row cannot be inserted. So we have done the insertion into our tables. Now let me execute the query. Now suppose if you want to see the structure of the customer table, right? Structure of the customer table. Then you can write the sp underscore help text. And you can write sp underscore help text, and you can execute. So this will show you the customer id, customer number, all the columns of customer table. Then what are the indexes, or what are the unique constraint or non-cluster indexes is automatically created over here. And all are the different constraint types are there, and this name is automatically generated by the sql server. And then these are the, if there is a default value, then that default value is given over here. So by this method you can see the structure of the table. Now suppose you are there with me, right? So should we want to continue for 10-15 minutes, or we can do tomorrow, or and go to question and answer kind of thing? Okay, let me unmute you all. From here we will discuss tomorrow onwards. Now you can ask whatever you have, any doubts or anything else. I have unmuted you all. You can speak. Anyone? Yes, yes. I will surely share this script into the our WhatsApp group only. Into our WhatsApp group. Now anyone can speak. If they how is the session? Can you give some feedback, or what is my level of pace? Pace is slow or fast, or how? Which which group you are talking about, Dakshay? No, 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 no. Yes, yes. This is the number for join the group. And one thing, I will share the script or any kind of document related things in the WhatsApp group. For my videos, you have to go to my YouTube channel. Over here, this is my YouTube channel, and in the YouTube channel, you will find one new playlist from today onwards. So I will create a new playlist like our class or anything. I will give the name, and in that playlist, I will put over here only today's recording. So from that you can get it. But actually, but I think majority of the people are from the south region. I think south region, or maybe they are not able to understand Hindi properly. Yes, 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 yes. I am from Gujarat. Okay, okay, or I will make, means you understand Hindi or English. Anything is fine. Okay, so I will do one thing. I will put a survey in our WhatsApp group, and based on the majority, I will continue either in Hindi or English, like that. Yes, yes, this is my personal number, and I will. If you WhatsApp me, then I will add you in our WhatsApp group. Okay, I will stop the recording.